And first at 4, most of us seeing rain on his Track 40 radar, but I'll tell you why conditions still could be messy for your drive home.
All right, thanks so much, Ron. DTE customers are about to see bigger bills, but a state agency wants you to know it could have been worse. Also, kicked out of Congress. Heated reaction to the expulsion of George Santos, including what he muttered to reporters as he left Capitol Hill.
A group of engineers are continuing a more than 20-year tradition by spreading holiday cheer to children going through a difficult time. How they do it, coming up.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon to you. I'm Christy McDonald. Thanks so much for joining me. Karen is working on a story for our 5 o'clock news, so you will see her in about an hour. First at 4 today, we're heading into a wet weekend, but we might be able to avoid some snow in our viewing area. Ron Hilliard gives us a look at the first forecast. Hi, Ron.
Hello to you, Christy. Now, this is the site that we're seeing from our camera into downtown Detroit now. You see the moisture on the lens. It is wet out there, gloomy as well. Now, one of the things that you'll notice as you're going out across town, not only do we have the rainfall across our area, but we're also seeing fog. So that's reducing visibility. Right now, the current temperature 44 in Detroit, Howell 38, Pontiac 40, 42 for us in Adrian. So the visibility, it's down to right around 3 miles as you get down toward Romulus Metro Airport, City Airport. We have 3 miles for that visibility and 2 as you get into Ann Arbor. So certainly that's a factor. We also have some mist out there as well, even as the rain is starting to wind down. But we do have the snow as you go up into the Thumb. Maybe you're traveling up 75 going into the Saginaw area. That's where you'll find the snow right now. We're going to talk more about rainfall returning later on tonight and also a wet stretch ahead of us. That's all coming up.
All right, thanks, Ron. We'll see you in a few. DTE customers will see a rate increase on future bills, but the Michigan Public Service Commission says it didn't give the utility everything it wanted. Today, the state agency approved a $368 million increase for customers. DTE was seeking $622 million. Said the increase was needed for infrastructure investments to boost reliability and to speed up clean energy plans. Now, a typical customer who uses 500 kilowatt hours of electricity per month will see an increase of about $6.51 a month. These new rates take effect on December 15th. A preliminary hearing is underway for 3 suspects charged in the murder of a Dearborn florist, Hassan Salami. Officers involved in the investigation and arrest of Trevon Green, Lindsey Thurman, and Quentin Ghostin were called to the witness stand today. Officers gave details on how license plate cameras, phone records, and fingerprints were used to locate and arrest the suspects.
After Mr. Ghostin had been arrested, 2 cell phones were collected from him as evidence. Search warrants were subsequently executed on those phones for forensic analysis, which I conducted myself. I reviewed the contents of the data that was extracted from the phones and was able to identify a phone number that Mr. Ghostin was in contact with during the time frame of the incident.
The hearing has continued late into the day. We will let you know what the judge decides. A road rage incident on I-96 leaves 1 woman in the hospital and police searching for another driver. This was breaking news yesterday, first at 4. And since then, we've learned that an altercation between 2 women started near the westbound lanes of I-96 near M39. Police say it spilled onto the freeway where the suspect rear-ended the victim and stabbed her in the arm when she pulled over. Police are looking for that second woman who was driving a light blue or a green Nissan or a Toyota. If you saw anything in that area just before 4 o'clock yesterday, please call police. Well, it was a historic day on Capitol Hill with a decision that leaves dozens of lawmakers wondering what it might mean for their futures. The House of Representatives has voted to expel one of its members for just the 6th time in U.S. history. Kimberly Gill is in the newsroom with more on the removal of George Santos. Kim.
Hi, Christy. Good afternoon to you. George Santos was a Republican freshman from the state of New York. He's been criticized for telling stories that just don't add up, and he's facing criminal charges, but he's yet to be convicted. For many members of Congress, that lack of a guilty verdict gave them pause about kicking him out of Congress. But in the end, the vote was 311 to 114. More than 100 Republicans voted with a vast majority of Democrats to remove Santos. He quickly walked away from Capitol Hill and didn't really stop to talk to reporters. Instead, he made some off-the-cuff comments. He said, quote, "To hell with this place." And he said Congress just set a dangerous new precedent. The only other members of Congress to be removed included 3 Confederate lawmakers during the Civil War and 2 others convicted of crimes. Some agree with Santos that the expulsion set a dangerous new standard, and he's denied any wrongdoing.
It's wrong what he was accused of doing, but he was accused. He hasn't even had his day in court. We are a nation of laws. We are not a nation of men. And if this institution is going to now ignore the rule of law because of political preferences and political decisions, it is going to be damning not just for the House, but it's going to be damning for the United States.
This is obviously a somewhat historic moment, unprecedented. And that is the election of George Santos in a nutshell.
Are you concerned about that?
I fundamentally believe he's unfit to serve in public office, whether it was dog catcher in his local community or here in the halls of Congress.
Well, now that Santos has been expelled, New York's governor will set a special election to fill that seat. The results could cut into the Republicans' very slim majority in the House of Representatives. Now, NBC News is getting more reaction to the historic vote, continuing coverage with Lester Holt tonight at 6:30 after you join us at 5 and 6 o'clock. For now, Christy, we'll send it back to you.
All right. Thanks so much, Kimberly.
Sure.
Israel's truce with Hamas has ended, and Palestinians are now running for their lives once again. Here's a look at new destruction after Israeli airstrikes hit new targets in the Gaza Strip just minutes after the 7-day ceasefire expired. Israel is dropping leaflets to warn Gaza residents to leave their homes to avoid the fighting, but it is not clear which areas of the territory might be safe or if Palestinians can access updated information about Israeli military's plans. More than 100 Israeli hostages were released in exchange for many more Palestinian prisoners over the past 7 days. Israel believes militants are still holding 136 more hostages, 119 men, along with 17 women and children. Now, since the war started, more than 13,000 Palestinians have reportedly died, but the toll could be much higher. Officials believe thousands more could be dead under the rubble of blasted buildings. The U.S. is urging Israel to take greater care with civilians, but it is not clear if Israel will heed those pleas. Israel's prime minister is vowing to destroy Hamas. Well, this afternoon, the country is remembering the first woman to serve on the United States Supreme Court. Retired Justice Sandra Day OConnor has died. During her time on the court, she became an unwavering voice for moderate conservatism. She was appointed to the court by President Reagan back in 1981. She retired in 2006. She was a part of decisions that reaffirmed Roe v. Wade and wrote the opinion that upheld affirmative action at the University of Michigan's law school, decisions that now have been overturned. O'Connor died of complications related to advanced dementia and respiratory illness. She was 93 years old. A group of Ford engineers is carrying on a 22-year tradition of volunteering at the Vista Maria shelter in Dearborn Heights. The organization helps children who are abused and neglected. Megan Woods gives us a look at the meaning behind this long-standing tradition.
Putting red ribbons on pews or hanging a wreath seem simple, but to this organization, Vista Maria, and the families they support, it gives them a holiday experience they thought they wouldn't have because of tough times.
They're not able to go out and visit a parade or go to a shopping mall or something to see all the extra decorations.
These lights, although small, bring a lot of joy to the 75 youth living on this campus and the approximately 200 other children Vista Maria supports with their foster care program.
Plug it in.
And if you ask Ford engineer Todd Soper, he will tell you the true joy is found in the work.
So we started out with a gentleman named Anthony Senatori. He kind of led the group, and after 7 years he moved on to planning and I kind of took it over. So this is our 22nd year.
He doesn't do it alone. Other engineers from the company join him.
Most of the guys that are in the group and most of the women are people that I've worked with in the past in one way, shape, or form. So and they keep coming back, and we get new faces.
They decorate the 37-acre property together and use the Ford Volunteer Corps to do it.
Ford allows you 16 hours or 2 days a year to volunteer with different organizations around the community.
Thank you.
The CEO of Vista Maria can't be happier because these engineers are the longest-serving volunteer group they have.
I think that just that dedication to our kids and families, and for me personally, I think that when you take your time, that we have that kind of community support just means the world to us.
And makes for a full circle moment the organization is grateful to have.
This was Henry Ford's land previously. So the Ford family, has been a part of Vista Maria for a very long time. And to have all of the employees take part in that and volunteer, it's just a fabulous thing.
In Dearborn Heights, Megan Woods, Local 4.
It's a great story. The group always volunteers the week after Thanksgiving, and Vista Maria has several volunteer opportunities all year round. So if you want to learn more, just go to clickondetroit.com. All right, in this Local 4 update for you, many of you have been responding to our story on the desperate need for volunteers at Macomb County's Meals on Wheels program. Our Paula Tutman went through the application process, and she hit the road as a volunteer driver. And after our story aired, Meals on Wheels tells us it got enough applications to open one additional route by next month to service seniors who are on a wait list for meals. But the job is not done yet. There is still a need for another 100 additional volunteers, and you can find links on our website to Paula's stories, the program, and we have a link to the volunteer application. So check out clickondetroit.com.